are moments in life that defy logic. Moments when the boundaries between the living and the dead, between reality and the unknown, seem to blur. I've had two such experiences. And even now, years later, I still can't shake the feeling that something larger, something beyond our understanding, was at play. The first experience happened just a few months after my father passed away. I wasn't expecting anything strange to happen. After all, grief has a way of making you hyper-aware, but you don't expect the unexpected. My father had owned a parrot, an old, cranky bird named Charlie. It was the kind of bird who would screech at the smallest thing and mimic almost everything he heard. After my father died, we weren't sure what to do with Charlie. The bird had been with him for over 20 years, so it felt wrong to just give him away. Eventually, I decided to keep him. I mean, what harm could a parrot really do? The first few weeks after my father's death were rough. The house felt empty, quieter, in a way that seemed unnatural. But one night, as I was sitting in the living room, something happened that I can't explain. It was late, almost midnight. I was watching TV, the house silent except for the occasional creak of the floorboards. Charlie was perched on his stand in the corner of the room. He hadn't said a word in days, just sitting there, looking around with those beady eyes. I'd even begun to think the bird was getting old and quiet. But then, it happened. A loud, sharp screech cut through the silence. I jumped out of my seat, my heart racing. It wasn't the kind of screech Charlie usually made. It was different, more urgent. I turned to look at the bird, and I swear I saw him staring directly at me. Then, from his beak, in my father's voice, I heard a single word: intruder. My body froze. It wasn't a word Charlie would normally say. I had heard him mimic my father's voice before, but it was always random things, phrases my father had said to him over the years. But this was different. This wasn't a random word. It was a warning. And I didn't know how to explain it, but it felt deliberate. I rushed to the window, pulling back the curtain. At first, I didn't see anything. But then, across the yard, I spotted a shadow moving near the back door. A figure, someone, or something, was sneaking around. I didn't hesitate. I grabbed my phone and called the police. By the time they arrived, the figure was gone, and no trace was left behind. The police found no signs of forced entry, and no one had been there. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something strange had just happened. Was it a coincidence that Charlie spoke at that exact moment? Or had my father somehow reached out through the bird to warn me? I'll never know for sure. But that night, I believed there was something more to it, something beyond the natural world. The second experience happened not long after, and it left me just as shaken. This time, it involved my brother.